Meme is not an original English language word. Although brought into common speech in the early 2000s to describe viral internet trends, the word meme was introduced in Richard Dawkins' 1976 popular nonfiction book, The Selfish Gene.
It's a slightly weird world you get into if you start searching for memetics. It's not one that I'm entirely happy with. I suppose I should just reiterate that my original purpose was not really to start a school of thought in human culture, but rather just to downplay the gene as being the only unit of Darwinian selection that one could imagine.
Ah, Richard Dawkins.
Hitler, Adolf Hitler.
And it's the facts plus the sensitivity, when convolved together, convolved creates impact.
Hitler, Adolf Hitler, was a Roman Catholic.
And I worry that your methods and how articulately barbed you can be ends up simply being ineffective when you have much more power of influence than what is currently reflected in your output.
I gratefully accept the rebuke. Science is interesting. If you don't agree, you can fuck off.
Richard Dawkins is an evolutionary biologist, but has mostly distinguished himself as a stand-up philosopher, pop author, and atheism debater.
What if I'm wrong? What if you're wrong about the great juju at the bottom of the sea?
In The Selfish Gene, memes and the field of memetics were proposed as a means of studying cultural development and the spread of ideas in a manner similar to studying the evolution of organisms through genetic replicators in DNA.
The act of reproduction at the genetic level would be the act of copying an idea from one brain to another.
The meme is analogous to a gene and is considered the source code for the replication of culture.
Anything which has that property that genes have of making exact copies of themselves, anything that has that property would do.
Both the original meaning of meme and its popular mutation are accepted definitions. These are extremely fast-spreading, fast-dying, typically low-impact memes. A virus, pollen, fungus, or bacteria are good analogies for how internet communication works, implying infection, desiccation, rot, and composting of ideas. This usage is an extension of the original meaning, but is not entirely faithful.
It's anything that behaves like a gene in human culture.
Memetics is intended to address all kingdoms of life, which is to say not just cult fads, but also the most timeless and profound ideas we hold and have access to.
It could be a style of dress, it could be an accent, it could be a favorite word, it could be
the wheel, the lens, the Renaissance, drum rudiments, bullet time, shoegazing, planking, larfing, doxing, gorilla masking, upper decking, Acheulean stone tools, Taylor Swifting.
Anything like that which is copied from one person to another.
The original purpose of memetics was to examine the development of society at a mechanistic level in terms of recognizable and teachable information patterns. In this sense, the dynamics of online communication are only one layer in a larger system. One key takeaway is that the development of thought is less a creative process and more a process of replication, mutation, and synthesis.
Whistling a tune, and somebody else catches the tune, almost like catching a virus, and they whistle the tune, and they walk off into the street whistling the same tune.
This perspective decentralizes the individual organism or multi-organismic population and recenters on what is actually exhibiting evolutionary characteristics, which in the case of people is technology, morality, and ideas. There is continuing debate concerning whether a meme in the brain has the same kind of physical material reality status as the replicators found in DNA, which would serve to validate the study of memetics as a science. And this need not concern us in any way. Memetics did not set out to solve the problem of the nature of mind, so we can set that aside for the moment. We can call whatever an idea is, however real we want to consider it. From what I can tell, Dawkins is himself unconcerned with this distinction.
Various objections have been raised to the theory of memes, and by the way, I should add that I only ever proposed it in order to downplay the gene as the only unit of natural selection.
Whether memes are a metaphor or a physical reality is like asking whether language or personhood are a physical reality or a metaphor. These are timeless philosophical questions, and yet all of these things are quite easily studied if we can just ignore for the moment that they are socially constructed or imaginary within a physically real brain. We'll come back to that. But while we're dealing with the imaginary, let us at least do so openly.
I mean, it's hardly even based on evidence. It's a statistical calculation.
Right.
It's a kind of plausibility calculation.
Right, right, right. This is so cool to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to get high later?